Happy New Year. This is the pollinator, and it's January 1st, 2018. We made it, and I was inspired. I wasn't going to make a video today, but I was inspired by a young man that is a YouTuber that I watch, and I've been kind of tracking him and talking to him a little bit on Facebook. And he made a video about his year, highlighting 2017. So I thought, well, that's pretty cool. I think I'll try to summarize that too. Because 2017 was a year for me to remember. So I mean, there have been spots of really, really cool, great things that have happened in 2017. And unlike him, I'm just going to be real about it. Most of 2017 sucked big time for me. But I'm the kind of guy that no matter what's going on in my life, I try to make the best of bad situations. So I don't talk a lot about all the crappy things, not all at once, and sometimes I write about them here and there, but I usually don't talk about all of them in one YouTube video. But so let me summarize. I've lost at least 3 or 4 family members in 2017. The idiot orange-faced chump got into full swing with his agenda and is just stirring up all sorts of trouble in this nation that is affecting me, is affecting veterans, is affecting people of color, and is affecting transgenders, and hasn't really yet affected the LGBTQ plus community, but they definitely have been targeting transgender people all of 2017. And right before he was elected in November of 2016, the Pentagon and the powers to be had on the table that the VA could have perform the same surgeries that they do perform for active duty military, and the reason they do that on the active duty military side is for preparedness. I'm saying that all wrong. Readiness. Anyway, to make them ready for combat, because if they don't get those soldiers in line with who they are, they're not going to be able to be effective if they're called deployed and whatnot. So the active duty military do get surgeries, but they took right before that idiot got elected, they took the decision. It was up to be discussed by the powers to be for veterans to get the same, and they just snatched it off the table. I think they realized that, you know, Obama was going out and somebody else was coming in, so they just dumped the whole thing and left a lot of us in the lurch when it comes to getting that part of our transition handled. Many veterans are disabled veterans. Many of us, that is our only health care, and we can't just go out and get civilian insurance to pay for our surgeries. And, you know, for our service to this nation, you know, look at what they're doing and look at what they have done. So, so that happened. I also had a hernia surgery at the beginning of the year, and that was a nightmare with the VA. I wrote about that on my timeline. I also did pay tribute to my family and my sister. I made a eulogy for her. In fact, everybody that we've lost, starting with my cousin in October of 2016, I have written eulogies for them that moved my family, my friends, their family, which is mine too. But I write about people. I write pretty cool things about people on Facebook, and because I'm a writer, I'm a natural writer, and so what else happened in 2017? I may not do this in order. I just may do it as I remember it. I got accepted to write for Huffington Post. I was pretty excited about that, and I've been making a few articles, not very many. I also started a movement. I've been trying to start a movement all of the second half of 2017 that brings together transgender, cisgender men and women, and that's been slow going because a lot of people are, I don't want to say have slave mentality, but, well, see, that can be used negatively and that can be used positively depending on how you listen to it. That all black people in America suffer from that kind of mentality. And 2017 was the year that many people, including myself, woke up and found some self-esteem and some pride and wanting to push back centuries of conditioning by this nation. And as we push back, we're getting kicked in the teeth by the government, who is spreading, they're spreading poison throughout the nation, that it's okay to come out and be racist, that it's okay to come out and be transphobic, that it's okay to come out and be homophobic, that it's just okay to take giant craps on marginalized people in this nation, the people who are most vulnerable. And my movement is an attempt to flip that script, flip the switch to how we're being made to feel about the loss of our history from Africa, and the positive history, positive and negative history of blacks in the United States, and also worldwide. So that was going on all of 2017 for me, is just pumping people up, because we realized that the entire time we've been in this country, nobody can do that for us. Nobody has done that for us. Everybody's running scared of doing that, and we have to rely on ourselves to get our self-esteem back, to get a sense of honor and dignity and pride about being black. And I don't care what you know, African American, black, whatever you wanna call that. Because of where I come from, I'll probably use the word black the rest of my life, and not African American. We did not give ourselves that name. And it also upsets Africans who came here, and it takes a lot to become a citizen of the United States. And so there are literally African Americans from Africa that are a little annoyed and confused when that term is used so loosely to refer to be you Black American or African American. So that's why I use the word black. It's not because I want to respect and honor the Africans that were able to come here under very dire circumstances in their country, on that continent, and came here and got their citizenship in America. So those are African Americans. The fact that the media has changed it to something else, that's their problem. And I felt the same way when, remember the Y2K bug that the media blew out of proportion when the year was 1999 and it changed to 2000. They were calling it a bug. They were calling it all sorts of things that it wasn't. The media does this. And the media is controlled by who? Not us. But that wasn't even a bug. You know what it was? I'm going to tell you what it was. It was this. People who designed the software prior to the year 2000 had only used a 2-digit year. So what was going on at the time was that, and that was by design because they didn't foresee what was going to happen in the year 2000. They just designed everything to use a 2-digit year. So when the year 2000 was coming, a lot of people realized, oh no, when that thing changes, when it changes from 1999 to the year 2000, all dates across the software spectrum was going to think it was the year 1900 if they used 00 for the year. So it was a mad dash and a mad push to change that 2-digit year to a 4-digit year. It wasn't a bug, but that's what they said. So anyway, that's another history lesson with software, is that a whole bunch of software developers and contractors and software engineers around the world had to go into that software, whether they had the source code to it or not, and change it from a 2-digit year to a 4-digit year and make sure, you know, everything around the world didn't think it was the year 1900. And they did, the media does the same thing to words like African American. I don't even, you know what, I did look up one time where that came from, and it did not come from the black community. It came from people overusing it and just giving us a new name. I mean, we've been going from all sorts of different kinds of names given to us by other people, other groups of people, since we were brought into this country. We were Moors before we were Negroes. And I don't even know what word they were calling us from the time we got here until we became Negroes. I don't know when that word was created. Probably during the Jim Crow era, Negroes was created. And then during the Civil Rights Movement, we took over and created the word black. It's not a color, it's not the color of this shirt. As you can clearly see, I am not the color of this shirt. It's just a word, you know, if they're going to push race, then we're going to give ourselves a name. And the name we gave was black. And then sometime between the latter 1960s and I think in the year 2000s, it got switched to African American. I don't even know where that came from, but everybody used it, so it was an acceptable term. But from the first time I heard it, I don't like it. So I don't refer, maybe the millennials like that because they weren't around during the Civil Rights Movement. So, and the generation right before them, too, I think refers to them that way. So anyway, let me get back. Okay, I'm not going to make this one a long one. Let me get back to some cool things that happened. I turned 60 in September and took a friend to a Cirque du Soleil and had dinner and had a really good time. That was a good thing that happened last year. I've had all sorts of issues with the VA in 2017, and also Facebook has taken notice and started covertly attacking my account. They keep blocking me out of groups because they see that I'm a force to be reckoned with, and I am a black man, a black transgender man. They don't like either. And, you know, I'm a transgender man whose agenda is pro-black. They don't like that. At least that's my take on why they're doing the things that they're doing to my account. because I fill my timeline with lots and lots and lots of stuff, and was sharing it into various groups. I've met some really cool people. I write about them also on my timeline. What else happened in 2017? Well, my finances got fucked up because remember when the government shut down cost of living increases for people on disability and veterans? They did that for 2 years, and in that 2-year period of time, everything else went up. So my income is now behind the 8 ball because it can't catch up. The cost of living, for instance, this year, just with rent alone, one of my disabilities that I get increased 2%. My rent went up 8%. So this is going to happen all across the board, and I'm going to have to scramble really hard and get my book finished and get some kind of income coming in here, so that I don't continue to struggle. You know, my car is messed up. I got a really expensive transmission problem with it that's cost half of the price of the car. Well, I said the black man in me woke up big time in 2017. I mean, it started in 2016, but it really kicked into gear in 2017. I'm trying to remember if I met the coolest, most awesome therapist I've ever had in my life last year in 2017. She's my first black therapist, and she's a doctorate. She has a doctorate. And she just gets me. She gets me. But I'm starting to have issues with some other doctors at the VA that are kind of interfering with that relationship. Not that relationship, but the fact that I have to go in and spend up my hour talking about shit I don't talking about the VA. And I don't want to be talking about the VA when I go in to talk to her. I've got a very, very, very busy life that the VA is supposed to be part of the solution to, not the major problem for. So I've had to deal with that. Anything else happened in 2017? Hell, we've lost a lot of celebrities last year. I'm really not on top of celebrities the way a lot of people are. I mean, I notice it. I notice their passing, but I'm not, because I grew up in the life of a celebrity. I don't see them the same way a lot of people do. They're just people to me. But you'll find out about that this year, when I finish this book, my autobiography. My mother wrote a book. My father has written like 4 or 5 books. They don't write them. They have ghostwriters, but I'm literally writing mine. So it's been very hard to focus and get this book written when all sorts of things are being slung at me from every which direction. I also proclaim myself to be an activist and an advocate from the work that I do worldwide. You know, I've got lots of children that they're not children by blood. They're children because their own parents aren't loving them the way that they should, and be they transgender or cisgender or gay or bisexual or what, it doesn't even matter. I have people that are in their 20s that call me their father, and I love them as such. I can't do that personally, but the way that I speak is the same way that I type, is the same way that I am in person. I'm just that kind of guy that provides some kind of stability in their life. And So they end up calling me that. And they're all over the world. So, including the United States. And what else has happened in 2017 that was noteworthy? I did a couple of interviews that went really, really well on Blog Talk Radio, and I did one in person with a group of men, and I think a non-binary man from Transilient. I started working out, and I started doing that I really thought I was going to be able to get top surgery last year in 2017, but those things did not come about. So I started working out for the first time in my life. I've never had to do that. I was an athlete from a very early age until my mid 40s, I think, or early 40s. I had to stop because of my knees and my feet. But I never had to work out because I was very active physically. And but yeah, I wanted to, work out this part of my body and try to get rid of this gut, because testosterone just redistributes your weight in your body from your hips to your stomach. And I didn't have any hips to begin with, and it just all went to my stomach. So I've been working on that, trying to get that under wraps, or trying to get it tightened up. And the older you are, the harder that is. Because I don't eat healthy. I'm not a health food nut, and I don't eat a lot of healthy things. So I eat whatever I feel like eating, whatever I have a taste for, and that's probably why it's going to be a little bit more difficult to get rid of my stomach. But I would show you, but I'm not gonna. I got so much hair on my stomach, it's not even funny. But I love it. At the end of 2017, I proposed again to the same woman that I did in 2015. And we haven't seen each other. It'll be a year in February, I think. And so I did that. I mean, it's like the entire 2017 was just one huge, big roller coaster ride for me. There were some good things, but mostly bad things. Things that were uncomfortable, things that were unsettling, things that things that I didn't anticipate, even in my family, of being misgendered and finding out that they still having trouble with my transition, when I thought, when I went home in February, that everybody was straight. But there's, so I choose to deal with that because I love them, but it doesn't mean it didn't feel kind of rotten. Because for the longest time I was detached from them, and I didn't have to go through that. But I'll take it on. And you know what, my book, when I publish my book, they're all going to have an understanding that they've never had, that they can't have with conversations with me. They're going to be able to read about it and come to some understanding about who I am and who I've been all of my life. And so, I'm trying to think of anything else that is really noteworthy. I mean, I do so much. I research so much, and I see so much great things and so much horrible things from hour to hour, it seems. I mean, my email has been full, like, over 600 emails for the last 6 months or so, because I let them pile up. At times, I don't want to see and read about all the negativity because I'm battling that in myself. So I don't read them. I leave them there to read them later. So it's been like that for at least 6 months, where there's just tons and tons of emails from all sorts of publications around the world, mostly in the United States, that I just keep going right past until I get my emotions under wraps, and try to get this roller coaster not to swing so high and swing so low, because I need balance. And something that that young man said on his video was that, you know, he's just entering adulthood, and he's seeing that he's in a place of growing for the first time in his life. And I think I left a comment on his video to keep growing, because I'm going to tell you something. A lot of people stop growing when they become adults. They think it's all over. They don't need to grow anymore. And so they're not exactly the kind of people I want to be around, have in my inner circle. People who just dead stop, don't want to grow emotionally, mentally, spiritually. That way, not physically. But people who don't want to grow are almost like an anchor on my spirit. Because I'm a student of life, and I will be a student of life until the day I die. And I learned that from Alcoholics Anonymous, almost going on 35 years in May, that I learned to embrace wanting to grow, to embrace the unknown, to embrace things that I didn't know and want to learn more. Just be a student of life. And it has made my life very rich, and a lot of people are going to find out just how rich it really is in the upcoming months. And yeah, I've had, you know, I told somebody the end of last year that I've not talked about that 14-year depression on YouTube videos, and that I may do that someday. But even throughout that entire period of time that I was clinically depressed, I still helped people. And you know where that comes from? I learned that in Alcoholics Anonymous. To get out of yourself, to get out of your head, to get out of your own way, to get out of stinking thinking, you help somebody else. You get out of yourself. You give it away to get it. You surrender to win. And I don't mean the kind of surrender like to surrender to idiots. No, you don't do that. You surrender to whatever you think the universe is run by for you. For me, it's God. For a lot of other people, it's the universe. Some people, it's Allah. Some people, it's Buddha. Some people, I mean, everybody's got all sorts of definitions of who their God is for them. But I surrender to my God within to win. And that's just how I've run my life for a long time. So I actually start getting annoyed and bored with people who are stuck and want to be stuck and want to stay stuck. I don't have much. I have some patience and love and tolerance for that, but not a whole heck of a lot. I'll just keep moving. I'll just keep growing, and I will grow away from them. It's not that I expect people to keep up, but people don't know that they're in love with their own misery. They don't know this. There's a lot of people that are still in love with a lot of self-hate, hatred towards others, and self-ignorance, not knowing who they are. Now, I can see if they're in their teens or early 20s, but at a certain point, when they get in their 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s and 70s, and they still that ignorant about their self, see you later, bye. I'm not going to, I don't judge people, but I also see what works and doesn't work in my life. And if that doesn't work in my life, it's not going to work with them. I will love them from a distance instead of loving them up close. Oh boy, I got off on a completely different track than talking about everything that happened in 2017. But just, I am so glad I got through the holidays. I don't like the holiday season. I really don't. Too many weird things happen during the holidays. Too many weird things have happened in my past for the holidays, and I miss my mom. I spent 18 years of holidays with her. And ever since she passed on, I've just had a really, really hard time with the holidays because I don't get to spend them with her anymore. And she was my best friend in the whole wide world. So that's all I'm going to say. I've talked long enough. I was going to talk for 15 minutes. I talked for 30 minutes. My bad. But I just want to wish everybody a very, very happy 2018. I hope all of your dreams come true. If this is... I'm still blocked on freaking Facebook out of groups, so I can't share this video into any groups. They're doing all that on purpose, too. You know, they know they're trying to clip my wings, but I will survive that, too. I will find some people to fight them. Well, I am finding people. And I hope you stay too blessed to be stressed. I can't always say that I've done that successfully throughout 2017, but I am going to try to do that in 2018, is to stay blessed instead of stressed, and keep remembering the things that I've learned throughout my life, like making gratitude lists, doing things to get out of myself. And people wonder why I talk to so many people, and a large part of it is to stay out of my head, to help others, and take care of myself too at the same time. So anyway, Happy New Year to the world, to the planet, and the pollinator will talk with you later. Peace.